Have you ever had one of those moments when you're about to say something, you're about to declare or proclaim something, and in that moment, your heart is racing and you can really feel your heart just beating against your chest, and a part of you feels exhilarated, another part of you feels anxious, and then there's this other voice that's saying, are you sure you want to do this? And your response to that voice is to do what you know is authentic for you. I'm Lauren K. Wyatt, and I'm the creator of LoveRenegades.com, and I want to talk to you about courage. Courage is an act of love. It is when we do something that feels so right to us, and we take this action even though we are afraid. And when we are courageous, we are allowing ourselves to be free. We are separating ourselves from any nonsense about how we think people want us to be. We separate ourselves from caring about other people's opinions of us. When we make a choice to be courageous, we are being true to ourselves. And this is an act of love. I'm going to connect with you about 3 incidents in my life that were courageous choices that I made. These choices were grounded in love, and I still made them even though I was so afraid. And this first choice of mine is coming out of the psychic and spiritual healer closet and then daring to create a business based around this. Whoa, okay, so that was big because my whole life I'd really been repressing myself. I didn't want people to think that I was different. I really just kind of wanted to fit in and have fun and just move with the flow of life. I didn't want to be noticed. I just wanted to just be. And after a certain amount of time, it became very clear that I could no longer repress who I was. My gifts just kept egging me on. I felt agitated. I felt like I was not in alignment with my life. And what's more than that is my relationships were really suffering. My body was totally rebelling against me. I manifested some health issues in my body, and my whole finances, career, all of that was just in the toilet. So it was one of those moments when it's just time for a wake-up call, and I had to get real with myself, and I had to love myself and accept who I was. And this didn't happen overnight. Thankfully, I connected with and attracted some wonderful people and some great teachers, and I was able to really embrace who I was, and at one point I was ready to share it with the world. And of course, this meant that I would have to actually tell people about what I did and what I could do. And I got to meet all of my fears, the fear of rejection, the fear of being ridiculed, all of that. And even though, yes, aspects of that totally happened, I got to really unplug from what other people thought of me, and I got to just be courageous, be true to myself, love myself, and commit to me and really being the light and the change that I wanted to experience in the world. So weaving this together, one thing that really became apparent when all of this was happening was my relationship with Daniel. Daniel is now my husband, and it's not something that I talk about enough, but when we first started out, things were very rocky. There were plenty of red flags and lots of drama surrounding what he was going through. And of course, as I just shared with you, I definitely had my own set of issues as well. And things did not start out all loving and harmonious and perfect like most relationships do, or at least that's what everybody wants us to think. Because really that's just not real. It's an illusion to think that everything's going to be perfect and bright and sunny and all of this, when that was not the case. But I will tell you, when I was going through one of the hardest points in my life, Daniel totally had my back. He was cheering for me. I used to be atheist. Like, I didn't want to believe in anything. I thought religious was really stupid. I didn't even believe in what I could do, even though I was experiencing it. So I'm having a bit of an identity crisis amongst all these other issues. And Daniel urged me to accept what was happening and to heal and to own it. And this was so hard for me to allow myself to surrender in this way and to really allow the divine to work through me and to accept help from other people. This was groundbreaking for me, and as I tell you, I'm getting a little emotional about it. So it was from this amazing act of love and support and commitment that I got to be courageous and take that love a step further. And then the next thing I wanted to connect with you about was my choice to become vegan. I've always been an animal lover, and I definitely care so deeply for our environment and Mother Earth, and I'm also a health conscious person. But I never wanted to be vegan. I really didn't. I also love food. I love cooking. What I love most about food and cooking is a community aspect of it. It's allowing, it's bringing other people into your world. It's people showing you their world. It's just this communion that we have as people that it can only really exist over a meal. And I didn't want to become vegan for that reason, because I didn't want to limit my options of cultural exchanges. These are the things that I was telling myself. But at some point, I had to recognize that for me, being vegan was this completely authentic and beautiful expression of how I really wanted to be in my life. And it was an act of love for me. And I got to get really real with myself about this choice. And I even had this just horrific, life-changing dream that really brought it home that for me, being vegan was a great choice. And again, when I let Daniel in on the dream and about my choice to do this, he was so supportive, and he said, well, I've always wanted to be vegan. And guess what? All of the fears I had about community and not being able to connect with people, have relationships with people because of my lifestyle and food choices, again, being psychic, that's a little different. All of that, just, I was shown that that was an illusion as well, because we don't need anything except love to connect with one another. We get to really put this love into action through being courageous and through being committed. So it's my highest intention that this video really supports you in really allowing yourself to be free, and in loving yourself, and in living your life in a way that's authentic for you, and having just incredible relationships that allow you to really express that and to love yourself and embrace life. So thank you so much for watching. I am Lauren K. Wyatt, love psychic, spiritual healer, and speaker of LoveRenegades.com.